for me as I think about fathering, and I think about fathering in the context of ministry, I think you've got a benchmark by the best. And the best father did ministry with his son, and he actually has a fabulous relationship with his son, and they do ministry together, and that's God the Father and his son Jesus. And it's very interesting to kind of follow the relationship of the Father and the Son as Jesus is engaged in ministry, and as they relate in the context of ministry, which Jesus says it's actually my Father's ministry that I'm doing. So it wasn't even just that Jesus was sent off in his own ministry, he was swept into his Father's ministry. So what made that such a healthy experience for both of them, that ministry wasn't an enemy of family, but actually was a benefit? And I think we get an insight in two places. There are 3 times in the Gospels that we overhear the Father talking to the Son. One of them is a baptism. Second one is the transfiguration. The third time is when Jesus says, "Father, glorify yourself," and there's a voice from heaven that says, "I have glorified myself, I will," and everybody thinks it's thunder. Those are the 3 times. I'm particularly interested in the first 2 times because though they're very different experiences, one a baptism, one a transfiguration, the voice from heaven says basically the same thing. It says, "This is my Son, whom I love. With him I'm well pleased." That's in both of those times. That's really interesting that in 2 different places, if you only had 2 opportunities to say something about your son, would you say the same thing in both places? Would you say it in the same way? I think the fact that he did shows that actually was the foundation and bedrock of their relationship, that kind of communication happened often, if we hear it twice. And the second time he adds one thing. He says, "Listen to him." He actually is talking to Peter, who wants to build those 3 tabernacles. And I think there we see 4 streams of God's Father heart that he's constantly communicating to his Son in the rough and tumble of ministry. And those 4 streams are identity. You're my son. This is who you are. You belong to me. And I'll tell you who you are in the midst of that. Second is love. I love you. Which he is not just telling his son, but he's telling other people. He's not ashamed to say, "I love my son." With him I'm well pleased. So there's this expression of Father pleasure. And Jesus himself says, my motivation is to please the Father. Like, I want to make him happy. And from the Father's side, you see the Father expressing his joy in his Son. And then the 4th one, I believe, is place. That's where God the Father was saying, "Listen to my Son." Peter wants to make a tabernacle, a tent for him, and the Father says, "No, that's not his spot. This is his spot. His spot is you listen to him, because I've made him judge. I've made him Son of Man. I've made him the Messiah." And there's this active work on God's part as Father to make a place for his Son. And I think those 4 things are things that children need in an ongoing way from their fathers. Their fathers have a special place of speaking identity to them, a special power in the communication of love, special potency as they communicate their pleasure or displeasure, and a special responsibility to provide place for their children. And what I've seen is that fathers who are in ministry and do those 4 things actually end up with really healthy kids who see ministry as a blessing rather than as a curse.